What up, YouTube? It's your boy Big Al right back at you with another tutorial. What we're doing today here is a razor fade, slick back on top with a little flare on the sides. As you guys can see, I'm quickly getting started knocking down my first guideline using my balder. Remember guys, if you guys are using your trimmers to knock down your bulk, all you're doing is wasting that trimmer blade. You're going to be going through trimmer blades excessively if you continue to use a trimmer. Just get yourself a balder. The balder's 40 bucks, and with that you're going to save yourself a lot of time and money. As you can see, I zero gapped it, and all I do is knock all the hair comes down quickly and fast, efficiently. Get yourself a balder. So now we move on to the next step. What we're going to do right here when we do this fade is we're going to do a method that I call steps. And what I'm starting right here with is I'm starting with my number 4 guard. The number 4, I'm just taking it right up the side, just taking all the bulk down. That's as thick as the size is going to be in number 4. Once I do the number 4, what I'm going to do is change over to the number 3 guard. The guards that I'm using right here is I'm using the Walh black premium guards. I like the premium guards because they don't bend as easy as the plastic guards. So now I got my number 3 guard here, and I'm going up the same way. I'm going right up the sides, not as high as I did with the number 4, just a little bit lower so that it all blends in. Remember, a number 3 blends into a number 4. And the lever, I set the lever at halfway, so that way I don't have to be going up and down. In other words, I'm using the 4.5, the 3.5, and then I move on. Right here, I moved on to the number 3.5 Oster blade. The machine I'm using right there is I'm using the BGR3 machine, made by Andis. It's a cordless machine. It's an exceptional machine because it's very, very quiet. So when you use it on the young kids tend to sit still more than when you put a noisy Oster machine on them. Right there, now I moved on to the number 2 Oster blade, detachable blade. First you use your number 3.5, then you move to your number 2. So what I do here now is I grab my 5-star senior. And the reason why this doesn't have a black cover is this is a limited edition, so it came with a silver cover, but it's the same thing. It's a 5-star senior, and what I'm using is I'm using the number 1 guard with the lever open, which is a 1.5, and that blends into the metal number 2, as you guys can see right there. And as I go up, I lower the lever down to a number 1, and at the same time I go up, but I go a little less high. Not as high as I went with a 1.5, of course. Keep it a little bit lower. Now I take off my guard, my number 1 clip, and now I'm going with no clip, lever open, which makes it a half, and I'm going all the way across, creating a guide. As I go across, I lower my lever a quarter of the way, and I go only a quarter of the way up, all the way across. With the lever completely closed now, all I'm doing is dotting the bottom line, just raking that bottom line, making sure that I don't leave, there's no line at the bottom. So now I'm going to add my half clip back onto my machine with the lever open, and I'm going to work on that center shadow that I created when I went up with the half open. I have the lever open and I'm just going across, raking that center shadow. As I go across, I lower my lever a quarter of the way, and again, just dotting that center shadow right there, just raking that center shadow until you can see it blending right in. As always, as you guys can see, the way I fade in 3 parts. I fade one side, which I always start on the right side of the head. Then I move on to the back side of the head, and then I move on to the left side of the head. Once I'm done with the side, I really don't go back to the very end. So right here, what I'm doing is I notice that there's a center shadow right there a little bit. So what I'm doing, I'm just using my clipper over comb to blend it all in. And remember, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create the effect that we are. What we're doing is creating a flare out effect. Well, what I'm doing is when I'm doing my clipper over comb is I'm pulling out at the last minute, right when I'm blending out, so that it gives out a little flared look on the outside. so that when we comb the hair back, it'll all lay back nice. So right here, I'm just continuing with a little bit of detail work. What I'm using is, I'm just using my machine open, and I'm just trying to blend out that center shadow. That way there's no center shadow in the middle before I move on to the next part, which is the back of the head. So now we start up right here in the back of the head, and what we start off again is we start off with our number 4 guard. A number 4 guard going right up the back of the side of the head. What I'm doing is I'm just following the surface of the head, and as I reach to the top, I just follow it right off. Not being careful not to go in too much. I don't want to take too much off. So I'm starting off with my 4. Again, I'm doing this fade in steps. I'm doing number 4, then I'm going to go with my 3 guard, and then I'm going to go to my metal 3.5. Guys, any of the tools that I use that I mentioned in this video, I have them all listed in my description down below. That way, in case anybody wants to order any of those tools, you can straight order them right there from Amazon. I stand to make a few cents off of each order, but I just put the links down there for you guys in case you guys want to buy these tools and use the tools that I'm using. So right there, I'm using now my number 3 guard. I use my number 3. I went 4 first. Now I went with my number 3. Now I'm going to start using again. I'm going to go back to my number 2. I'm going to use my number 2 just to blend it down a little bit more before I move on to my metal guards. Right there was just a quick pass again because I already went with the number 2 guard. So now right here what I'm doing is I'm going with my 1.5. It's the number 1 clip. Remember guys, when you're fading, there really is no wrong or right way to fade. It's just on getting it done, you know. There's so many different ways to fade, and you just gotta find the way that makes you more comfortable on doing it. Again, right here I'm going with no guard on, with the lever open, which is a 1/2, and I'm going up about 1 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. As I go across, I lower my lever 1/4 of the way, and I'm going back up to the same spot, maybe a little bit lower. Then I close my machine another 1/4 of a way, and I go up 1/2 of the way up. Now I have it completely closed, and I'm just raking the bottom line, just trying to get that bottom line so there's no bottom line. The worst thing you can do on a fade is to leave a bottom line, guys. You have to find a way to get that line out. Right here again, I'm grabbing my trimmer, and what I'm doing now is I'm making sure that there's no bottom line. On this haircut, I'm noticing I'm really not staying uniform to the way I did it on the other side. I mean, I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I'm explaining exactly what I'm doing right here, guys. So right here, I grabbed my 1/2 clip, and what I'm doing with the lever open is I'm going across and just hitting that center shadow. As you can see, it's all blending in already. And as I go across, what I do is I lower the lever 1/4 of the way, and I still raking that same center shadow. Two sides down, one side to go. So now right here again, we go with our number 4 guard. Number 4 guard going right up the side, guys. Right up the side. As I go up the side, I kind of pull up so that it creates a little flare effect. Right here I'm going with my number 2 guard, and I'm just hitting the center shadow, just trying to blend it all in. Now I grab my number 1 clip, lever open, and I'm just creating that guide again, which is a 1.5. Now I close the lever, and I'm just hitting it with a number 1. Right there, I had the lever open. I'm going across as the 1/2, and as I go across, what I do is I lower the lever 1/4 of the way, and I go only halfway up. Then I lower the lever 1/4 of the way more, and I'm just erasing that bottom line. Once I have the machine completely closed, the lever completely closed, and I'm just dotting the bottom line. making sure that I stay below the line that I created with a half. Now all that's left is to remove that center shadow. The center shadow we're going to take down with our half clip lever open. Half clip lever open. If you're not using a half clip, then that might be a reason why you're having problem removing that center shadow. You need to implement all your clips, and especially your half clip. Half clip is a very important clip that you need when you're fading or tapering. Right here, the fade's pretty much done. Now what I'm gonna start doing now is doing a little bit of detail work, and what I'm doing right here is I'm just doing some clipper over comb, and this reducing that center shadow so that it all blends in. Remember, when you're fading, you're creating that effect from a 0, which is bald, into 1, 1.5, 2, 3 up the side of the head. So now that we're done with the fade, what we're going to do right here is we're starting up with our Series 9 Braum Series 9 shaver. This is the latest and greatest shaver there is, guys. I know the price is steep on this machine, but really consider buying this machine. This is an exceptional machine. When you're shaving, I shave all day long with all my fades. So when you're shaving, this machine is so quiet and so smooth. You can use it on a child with no problems. And plus, this is a level of smoothness that's far beyond what Andis or a Walh shaver do. What I'm doing is I'm just moving the Stanix out of the way right here so that I could really clean up his neck good with my scalatorized trimmer. And as you see, this is kind of one of the first times I'm actually using it, but this trimmer right here is modified by myself, and basically it's just a GTX trimmer that I modified. And what I'm doing is just taking up the big hairs so that when I go in right now with the Series 9, I can go move quickly and just take it all down. Mind you, if I use the Series 9, I can take down that stubble with the Series 9. It takes a little longer, but it does do the job. So what I technically do, I just go in there with my trimmer real quick and just clean it all up before I go in there with the Series 9. So right here, the fade's pretty much done. All we're doing is doing a little bit of detail work, just cleaning up the sides right now. On the top, what I'm gonna do, my brother right here is I know I mentioned this is my brother, but what my bro wanted right here was on the top, he just wanted the tips cut, and so he could slick it all back. What's great about the Series 9 shaver is that it has a center blade, a cutting blade in the middle of the machine that if you have stubble there, it will take it all down and leave you really smooth. So right here we move on to the top of the hair, and again, it's a slick back haircut. He's been growing his hair out so I can slick back, so right now it's at the moment where it's starting to slick back really good. So basically what we're going to do is just cut the tips so that it all blends in nicely. As you guys can see, I'm very, very generous with the water. When I cut the top of the hair, I like to have it really moist. That way when I lift up the hair, I can see where my guide is. As you can see, when I cut the top, I cut in 4 sections. I start off on the left, upper, center, and I work my way back. As I go back, I pull up my guide and I create my first guide. Again, I add more water. Now that I did my first guideline, what I do is I start on the center, right-hand side of the head now, and I'm going back. I'm picking it up. As I pick up, I can see the guide that I created when I made on the right, on the left center of the head. From there, I move on to the right side of the head. I'm just going to the right side, and then my fourth side is going to be the left side. Just pulling out and starting my guide. Now I'm going to crisscross my pattern. That way I can see what I missed when I was going from front to back. young barbers out there watching this video and learning about fading and stuff, don't get discouraged. When you're fading, it's a process. It takes time to learn, and the speed comes with the amount of haircuts that you do. You know, the more haircuts you do, the better you're gonna get at it. The more repetitions you're gonna get at it. Right here, the haircut's almost done. As far as the hair cutting part is done, I mean, all we're gonna do now is groom his hair so that we can see what. Once I slick it all back, I can see if there's anything sticking out on the sides. So what I do is I use some Suavecito grooming spray, and what I do is just provide a generous amount. And what I'm doing is just using my roller brush to blow dry the hair back. I really didn't blow dry the hair thoroughly on this guy because he was complaining about me blow drying his hair anyway. He doesn't like to have his hair blow dried because he doesn't like the volume that the blow drying creates. He'd rather have it slick back flat than slick back with volume. Remember, when you blow dry somebody's hair, it creates a lot of volume. It lifts up the hair, dries it completely. So when you add the pomade, it gives you a little bit of lift. Once I'm done blow drying it, what I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna go back right now with my clipper over comb, and I'm just gonna do one final check all the way around. And what I'm doing right here is I'm just looking to see anything that I might need to be trimmed and blended in before I applied my pomade. You don't want to do this after you apply your pomade because then your hair's gonna be already sticky and slicked back, you know. And of course, everything's gonna lay back down when you apply your pomade. So it's best to do this where the hair is still dry. You can see exactly what's sticking out and what needs to be blended in. That way, when you apply your pomade, it's all gonna lay down nice. So right here, we're just doing some more clipper over comb action, just getting our blend nicely in. As you guys can see, I'm using my mirrors. I turn them around the direction that I need them, and I look through my mirrors. That way I can see that I'm not missing any spots, any dark shadows, any dark edges, and I'm just blending it all up nicely. This zero fade right here is more of a traditional fade because of the slick back effect on the top. So right here, what I applying is some tip top pomade, and a generous amount. I put it in my hands, and I'm just gonna slick his hair back. At this point, the haircut is pretty much done. This is it to this haircut. On the real, this haircut on a normal day at the barbershop would have took me about 20 minutes to complete. This is probably one of the haircuts that I do the most at my shop. I do fades all day long, man. That's what we are. We're a fading shop. When you fade, guys, you just gotta find the easiest, fastest way for you to do it. When you're starting off, don't worry about being fast. Worry about doing it right. You want to win that customer over so he comes back to you. He's not gonna come back to you if you get done really quick and give him a crappy haircut. You know, he's gonna want the best haircut. Take your time, learn your craft. Take some pride in your work. If you take pride in your work and you see that you're doing good, the customer's gonna notice that too. Right here, I'm doing one last final clipper over comb, just going over. Now that I have it all slicked back, I can see exactly. And as you notice, I'm kind of working on the center of the head, not really working where I put the pomade, more on the side, just blending it all up, blending it all in so that it looks nice and efficient. Okay, folks, this is pretty much it for this haircut. If you guys have any questions, any comments, if you guys have any questions about the tools that I use, how I did it, please leave a comment below. If you're watching my videos, please subscribe, guys. I'm trying to build this channel up, and I'm giving you guys all the knowledge that I have here. Help me out. If you guys have any questions, any criticism, if you guys want me to show you guys something, talk about something, shoot me a comment below, and we'll get into this. Right here I'm finishing off the haircut by just doing a little bit of detail work. And what I do is I have my half clip on there and I'm just going around and making sure that there's no dark spots or nothing. Remember, I have a list of all the tools that I have in my arsenal at the barbershop. It's all listed at the bottom. If you guys have any questions, anything, let me know, guys. Alright, I'm going to be coming out with more tutorials and more vlogs on a daily basis. Just check in with me. Subscribe and click the little bell button so you get the notifications. I'll catch you guys on the next haircut. Thanks for watching.